On Global TV News Express, Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf resigns membership of the New Nigerian People's Party. In business, national power grid collapses once again, leaving parts of the country in darkness. And on the foreign scene, Europe agrees on negotiations with United States to protect own interests. And in sports, a National Institute for Sports to start a South-South Zonal Training Center in Benin. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. President Bola Tinubu has approved the posting of 3 ambassadors designate, reversing an earlier announcement that had included a 4th nominee for Turkey following a mix-up. In an initial memo issued to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and signed by the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the Presidency announced the posting of 4 ambassador designates drawn from the 68 nominees confirmed by the Senate last December. However, within hours of the announcement, media organizations, the Presidency issued a correction citing a naming error concerning the Turkey posting. In a note to editors, the Presidency said the appointment of an ambassador designate to Turkey is still under review and should, for the moment, be disregarded. Kano State Governor Abu Kabir Yusuf has resigned his membership of the New Nigerian People's Party, that is NNPP, deepening political realignment in the state. The governor formally communicated his decision in a letter to the party's leadership at the ward level, citing worsening internal crisis and need to protect the overall interests of Kano State. The governor attributed his exit to persistent leadership disputes and legal battles that have weakened cohesion within the NNPP at both state and national level. He noted that the prolonged internal instability has created divisions, uncertainty, and operational cracks within the party structure, making it increasingly difficult to sustain effective political coordination. Governor Yusuf's resignation was announced alongside the defection of 21 members of the Kano State House of Assembly, 8 members of the House of Representatives, and 44 local government chairmen, marking a major political shift. The move signals a decisive break from the NNPP and sets the stage for a new political direction, as the governor insists his action is guided by peace, stability, and the continued development of Kano State. The House of Representative Minority Caucus Ad Hoc Committee investigating alleged distortions of the nation's tax law has confirmed that there were indeed illegal alterations in some of the tax reform laws recently passed by the National Assembly and assented to by President Bola Tinubu. The committee specifically cited the Nigerian Tax Administrations Act 2025 as a law where the alleged alteration were most prominent. The committee disclosed this in its interim report on discrepancies between the versions of the tax laws passed by the National Assembly and those published in the official gazette. The controversy followed public outcry after a member of the House, Abdul Samad Dasuki, raised the alarm on the floor of the House over the circulation of an altered version of the tax laws that differ from the version lawmakers had passed. Justice Florence Faberisima of the Oyingbo High Court of Rivers State, sitting at the State Judiciary Complex in Port Harcourt, has adjourned indefinitely two separate suits filed by Governor Siminalaya Fubara and Deputy Governor Ngozi Odu, seeking to halt ongoing impeachment proceedings against them by members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. The lawmakers had last week initiated impeachment moves against the duo over alleged constitutional misconduct, particularly on matters relating to financial appropriation. In response, Governor Fubara and Professor Odu filed separate ex parte applications requesting interim injunctions to restrain Speaker Martin Amaewhule, 25 other lawmakers, and the Clerk of the House from taking further steps in the impeachment process. The People's Democratic Party, that is PDP, has expressed dissatisfaction with the dismissal of one of its suits by a federal high court, saying it is considering an appeal against the ruling. Addressing journalists after the court proceedings, PDP factional chairman Kabiru Turaki disclosed that two matters involving the PDP came up for hearing. Ubong Usoro reports.
According to the PDP, the withdrawal was carried out in line with Order 15 Rule 2 of the Federal High Court Civil Procedure Rules, which permits withdrawal of a suit without the leave of court. However, the party says it is surprised that the court dismissed the suit instead of striking it out.
With respect to the one that was filed by us, we took advice and guidance from our team of lawyers that in view of other pending matters, that there may not be need for us to continue with that for now. And on the basis of that, our lawyers filed an application to withdraw without leave under Order 50 Rule 2 of the Federal High Court rules.
On the second matter, the PDP revealed that it has approached the Court of Appeal to challenge certain interim orders made by the trial court, which it believes substantially affect the substantive issues for determination in the case. The party confirmed that the records and briefs have been filed at the Court of Appeal alongside an application for a stay of proceedings, all of which have been brought to the attention of the trial court.
I appreciate that two matters came up today that involve our party. The first one was the matter that we filed, and the second one was the matter that was filed against us. In respect of the matter that we filed, we took advice and guidance from our team of lawyers that in view of other matters that are pending in many other courts, that there may not be need for us to continue with that matter, especially in view of the application for recusal, which we filed before the court in respect of that matter.
The matter has been adjourned to January 20 for mention, pending the outcome of the appeal or the application of the stay of proceedings. The PDP reiterated its confidence in the judicial process and said it remains committed to pursuing its case through legal process and rule of law. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
The Nigerian Army has dismantled criminal strongholds inside the Aja forest in Azuagu local government area of Enugu State, dealing a major blow to armed groups that had turned the forest into a hub of terror and insecurity. The commanding officer of the 103 Battalion, Major Mohammed Buhari Abdurrahman, said the operation targets members of the indigenous people of Biafra, the Eastern Security Network, and other criminal elements operating within the forest. Kikelomo Okere has details.
Acting on credible intelligence, troops of the 103 Battalion launched a coordinated security operations targeting criminal and terrorist elements operating across the forest corridor linking to Enugu and Anambra State. The area had long been exploited as a hideout for violent groups, strengthening surrounding communities. The operation, which commenced on December 30, 2025, has so far led to the clearance of 8 criminal camps. Troops safely donated improvised explosive devices, recovered arms and ammunition, including nearly 200 rounds of 7.62 mm ammunition, and arrested 2 suspected members of the indigenous people of Biafra. The suspects are currently in the military custody for further investigation. The commanding officer of the 103 Battalion, Major Mohammed Buhari Abdurrahman, says security forces have now entered the consolidation phase of the operation. Heavy equipment have been deployed to open up the forest, destroy escape routes, and permanently deny criminals the cover they once exploited. The exercise is also aimed at reclaiming the lands for legitimate activities, including farming and community use.
Successful detonation of all the improvised explosive devices that were put to slow our advance, which was successfully detonated. We also neutralized and recovered arms and ammunition. About 197 rounds of 7.62 mm special ammo were recovered and 50 cartridges. We also arrested 2 of the IPOB members whom are currently under detention and are providing vital information aiding our operations.
The chairman of Ezeagu Local Government Area, VITA, Dr. Vita Ndo, confirmed that the operation has significantly improved security across Ezeagu. A joint effort involving the military, police, and the Department of State Service was launched after reports of armed groups occupying large swaths of forest land and spreading fear among residents. The local government reports a peaceful period with no record incidents of kidnapping or violent attacks, even during the festive season. The residents have been urged to remain alert and support security agencies with timely information to sustain the gains recorded.
In terms of the peaceful environment, there was no threat. The environment was very peaceful, because the presence of the military actually drove them away. We enjoyed the festive period. It was peaceful. There was no intimidation. There was no criminal attack. There were no kidnappings within the festive period. People who returned stayed and enjoyed themselves and then traveled back freely.
With criminal camps dismantled and key routes opened up, the Ajali Forest operation marks a decisive step towards restoring lasting peace in Ezeagu and surrounding communities, signaling the military resolve to deny criminal groups and safe haven. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, in continuation of engagement, hosted a high-level delegation from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Ministry of Hajj and Umrah, at the Hajj House, Abuja, for a strategic engagement with Hajj stakeholders, including State Pilgrim Welfare Board's executive secretaries, chairmen and executive directors, and managers of private tour operator companies, amid strengthening coordination and improving service delivery for Nigerian pilgrims. Welcoming the delegation, the chairman and chief executive officer of NACON, Professor Abdullahi Saleh Usman, described the meeting as a vital platform for direct interaction between Nigeria's stakeholders. The Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, has expressed concern over delays in the refund of excess Hajj fare paid by pilgrims. Senator Ibrahim Muhammad, the faith-based civil society organization, uncovered a sizable financial surplus resulting from exchange rate differences during the 2025 Hajj operations. The organization explained that the exchange rate disparity translates to an utilized balance estimated at between 80,000 naira and 93,000 naira per dollar per pilgrim, with about 437,000 allegedly due for refund to each pilgrim who completed full payment for the February 10 deadline. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. News Prime continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign, and sports stories on the other sides of this break. Please stay with us.
Glad to have you join us. It's been wet across the southwest over the past few days, and we expect this to change as dry winds are gradually pushing southward. And this will help suppress rainfall, keeping most areas dry, though conditions are expected to remain hazy. And for aviation operators, the coming days may bring significant visibility reduction due to expected thick dust haze, particularly across the northern parts of the country. Flight operators are strongly advised to consult the NIMET e-flight folder to support effective planning and safe operation. Looking ahead to Saturday, no major weather activity is expected, as dry, sunny, and hazy conditions will prevail across the north down to the southwestern region. However, the southeast may experience patches of cloud with isolated thunderstorms possible over parts of Calabar in Cross River State. And that's the latest weather outlook. I'm Safia Senginusa. Thank you for watching.
Welcome back from that break. Now let's take you to the world of business, where the national power grid collapsed once again, leaving parts of the country in darkness and disrupting electricity supply to millions of households and businesses. Report revealed that electricity generation dropped sharply from over 4,500 megawatts to as low as 24 megawatts as of noon today. All 23 generation plants connected to the grid reportedly lost out during the incident, resulting in a zero power allocation to each of the 11 electricity distribution companies. The cause of the collapse could not be immediately determined, and officials of the Transmission Company of Nigeria are yet to issue a detailed statement. Meanwhile, two major unions in the power sector, the Senior Staff Association of Electricity and Allied Companies and the National Union of Electricity Employees, have declared an indefinite strike at the Kano Electricity Distribution Company, that is KEDCO, over unsettled workers' entitlements. The action followed the expiration of a midnight ultimatum issued to the management to clear accumulated arrears owed to staff. Idris Jibrin reports.
Tension mounted at the Kano Electricity Distribution Company as labor unions in power sector picketed the company's head office in Kano. Following the expiration of the midnight deadline, the Senior Staff Association of Electricity and Allied Companies and the National Union of Electricity Employees announced a total withdrawal of services across the company. The unions say negotiations with management broke down over 3 categories of unpaid arrears, which they claim have remained unsettled despite repeated agreements.
Our issue is that we have staff welfare problem, and this management, we call their attention for them to at least listen to our demand, but they refuse to listen to our demand.
The labor leaders insist that management's failure to pay workers their entitlement by Tuesday, January 20th, forced them to embark on a total withdrawal of services.
KEDCO staff are hardworking staff, and everybody can testify through the revenue they are generating. So they deserve some level of respect by giving them what is meant for them. Remittance or pension, we talk about conducive working environment, we talk about the 13 months, we talk about so many things.
Responding to the development, the management of KEDCO appealed for calm, saying efforts are ongoing to resolve the issues and restore electricity supply to customers.
we sat down and we took a look at the thing holistically and agreed with the two in-house unions that going forward, we are going to be paying pensions, current pensions, and 1 month outstanding, and then at the end of every quarter, we will pay 2 months arrears and 1 current till we exhaust arrears when it comes to pension.
The strike action is expected to disrupt power supply across Kano and other areas served by KEDCO if the stalemate persists. From Kano, Idris Jubrin, Global Television News.
Now to the foreign scene. United States President Donald Trump says Hamas had to give up its weapons, warning that any action to the contrary will signal the end of the Gulf. Trump spoke at the World Economic Forum in Davos while addressing his newly created Board of Peace that has originally been set up to oversee the reconstruction of Gaza going forward. Here is Uyi Agbomofuegbe's report.
Trump had warned he will slap tariffs on 8 European countries that did not support his bid to take over the Danish territory. He retracted the policy on Wednesday and said that the US and NATO had agreed to create the framework of a future deal that covers Greenland. European Council President.
All right, let's bring you more stories. European Union's leaders have agreed to continue dialogue with the United States on a wide range of issues, including President Donald Trump's interest in taking control of Greenland. This is part of the outcome of an emergency summit convened in Brussels. Zarau Nasir completes the story.
Trump had warned he will slap tariffs on 8 European countries that did not support his bid to take over the Danish territory. He retracted the policy on Wednesday and said that the US and NATO had agreed to create the framework of a future deal that covers Greenland. European Council President Antonio Costa told reporters after the summit that the EU remains ready to continue engaging constructively with the US. He, however, stated that the bloc will continue to stand up for its interests and will defend itself against any form of coercion.
The European Union will continue to stand up for its interests and will defend itself, its member states, its citizens and its companies against any form of coercion. And it has the power and the tools to do so, and will do so if and when necessary.
Costa said that the EU relationships between partners and allies should be managed in a cordial and respectful way. Sources say NATO's discussions with the US involve plans to enhance the United States' military capability in Greenland and strengthen the alliance defense readiness in the Arctic. They say the European Union will monitor the progress of the talks. Zahra Unasr, reporting for Global TV.
Now to the world of sport. Super Eagles captain Wilfred Ndidi has been offered to Manchester United as he seeks a return to the Premier League just 6 months after leaving Leicester City. The 29-year-old midfielder joined Turkish giant Beşiktaş in the summer, bringing an end to his 8-year spell in England. But it is reported anxious to return to the Premier League. Ndidi has been presented to Manchester United as a possible option to bolster their midfield for the second half of the campaign. Nigeria's national record holder in women's high jump, Temitope Adesina, has been named the Big 12 Indoor Track and Field Athlete of the Week. Her first victory of the new season at the Corky Classic. The Big 12 is a Colgate Athletes Conference in the United States, consisting of 16 full member universities, 3 private and 13 public across the state, of Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Iowa, Kansas, Ohio, Oklahoma, Texas, Utah, and West Virginia. Additional received the honor alongside her Texas Tech teammate Jonathan Seremes and Belo Tira Kelly. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, let's take a look at our top stories. Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf has resigned his membership of the New Nigerian People's Party, that is NNPP, deepening political realignment in the state. And in business, the national power grid collapsed once again, leaving parts of the country in darkness and disrupting electricity supply to millions of households and businesses. And on the foreign scene, European Union leaders have agreed to continue dialogue with the United States on a wide range of issues, including President Donald Trump's interest in taking control of Greenland. This is part of the outcome of an emergency summit convened in Brussels. And in sport, the National Institute for Sport has perfected all arrangements to commence the South-South zonal operations of the institution in Benin City, Edo State's capital. That's it on News Prime. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thanks for watching.